I'm Phil Gaimon. I was a pro cyclist for 10 years. Now I'm retired, but I still train as hard as I can to set the best times on the toughest climbs I can find and go on fun adventures on my bike all over the world. This is Worst Retirement Ever. Brasstown Bald. This is the hardest one. This is kind of the most known one. There was a Tour de Georgia stage finish at the top of this. It's steep. I mean, that's basically it. This is the steepest one. So I'm doing this first thinking that this is the one I want to be freshest for, but it also means I'm going to be more ruined for the future ones. But that's Worst Retirement Ever. We're going to stick the GoPro on the van here and let's do it. All right, so here's me at the base of Brasstown Bald. Now, Brasstown, oh God, it's raining. This day was so miserable. I'm recording this 2 weeks later, and I'm reliving how horrible that was. The Brasstown Bald it's always been my favorite climb in kind of the North Georgia Gaps region. It's one where you can do a big loop, and there's kind of most of the climbs go from somewhere to somewhere, so you can connect the dots and the descents. Brasstown doesn't. Brasstown dead ends at the top. So you've really got to go up it on purpose, and it's really easy to, it's not on the way to anything, and it's really easy to go and I'm at the bottom, I'll just do the rest of my loop. I don't have to like add this half hour of misery to it. But I started my ride cold on this day going up Brasstown. So here we are, we're at a chill 14% gradient, which is a great start. I hadn't ridden this climb probably in a couple years, to be honest. This was one I used to go every Sunday. This was my church. I'd do a big loop around North Georgia, and I'd hit Brasstown. This is when I lived in Athens. So I took a couple years off that, and this was a nasty reminder. So I forgot exactly how to pace this. I wasn't sure, so I sort of had my target time. And I was looking at a pace that would empty me then, sort of regardless of the terrain. I just knew it was going to be steep, and I forgot. Well, we'll see. We'll get to it. I'll pay for it later. So now it's 8, 9, 10%. The Tour de Georgia raced up this. This is probably, if you've heard of Brasstown Bald, that's what it's from. Tour de Georgia. I think the first year. It went on until 2008, and then the first year that it didn't happen was my first year pro. I was on Jelly Belly that year, and I was like, oh cool, I get to do my home race. It's canceled. That was that's very pro cycling, really. And it more so this year. But so now I was like, okay, it's steep at the bottom, but I can't go 500 watts every time it goes over 7%, because it's over 7% the whole time. So now we're at 16. You just got to stand up when it's over 10, really. God, what a nasty climb. This is the Factor VAM. I've got a video. The next video coming up is sort of talking about this bike and how I built it and what I think about this. The O2 is like their regular road bike, and that's a climbing bike. The VAM is a climbing bike. That's how I've been putting it. But I built this up. I think I have the 28C tires on there, which is that's just what I run. I don't think they're any slower, to be honest. And definitely in the rain, I think they gave me a little more grip than I needed. But we're just looking at, I was thinking it would be around 15 minutes, and my best 15-minute power is in the low 400s. So I was trying to govern it there and not go under 400, but not go over 450. A pace that I know I can't really sustain. And then here's a little bit. 11% is a flat bit when you see what's coming up. So try to ease up on the places where I can gain a little bit, and then as it kicks, be prepared to stand up and push a little harder. That's a lot of these. It's just the road goes straight, like it doesn't switch back on itself a whole lot. At the very end, there's one or two, but mostly you're just going up from the highway up to this viewpoint at the top. I remember I used to train up here with some buddies and teammates. John Murphy said he heard, this is a weird thing to talk about, but this is how do you kill 15 minutes of me riding? John Murphy, we were teammates on Kenda. He's still racing. He's on it's a rally now. He saw someone committed suicide up at the top. Just drove his truck up and shot himself, and it was all closed one day. It's like, oh, it's kind of a good place for that. If you're gonna do it somewhere with a view, I suppose. But it's also a lot of trouble to get up there. Put people through more trouble. That's a sad way to go. But we're not going to start this video over. We're just going to move on. Yeah, heart rate's nasty. I wasn't as recovered for this whole day as I wanted to be. I got to Atlanta and had a lot of things going on, and I thought, like, one of those, I want the whoop score to be 95%, and I think it was like in the 40s that morning, which isn't like a cancel it, but it's also this is going to be ugly. Yeah, here's just standing up and fighting a 12% grade and trying to hold any speed, but it's not it's not easy. The KOM on this is a guy named, I think it's Magnus Sheffield. I think he said it during training camp from like Hot Tube, so he was a junior if he's not still a junior. And I think he was probably the first person to really like rip this KOM at a high level in a long time. So that's sort of the time I was going after, which I thought I could beat because I don't think he's a climber. But I wasn't sure by how much. Normally, like if I know the person who I'm going up against, I have a sense of how to pace it. It's like sometimes I'll be like, okay, I think I can get this one by a minute. Or this one's going to be real close, so I'm going to use I have the Wahoo Live segments, so I'm looking like, okay, can I just keep up to their pace and try to squeeze out a little extra in the last few minutes. This one, I was kind of just going my own and adjusting as I went. This is like the worst conditions, it's just standard Georgia conditions, but on a good day, Brasstown is like, it's so pretty. It's almost pleasant to get up a 15% climb, just because of the views and the nature. There's little waterfalls on the side. If you didn't see the whole video from Georgia that's coming out before this, definitely check that out. I tried to capture it as well as I could in a day. Maybe I'll have to go back another time and do a video where I'm enjoying it rather than trying to annihilate it all. So the Tour de Georgia, when it raced up this was like the peak of Lance's real special years. He got beat going up this by, I think Lance, maybe Danielson won the overall that year. I forget. I think Lance won it once and Danielson, I know, won another time. But Cesar Gajales won the Brasstown stage. He was on the Jittery Joe's team, which was based in Georgia, Athens really team. That was probably their biggest victory ever. As I stand up and attempt to keep the pace, like I said, I didn't do this great. You want to save kind of the most gas for the steepest bits, and I think here I realized, like, oh yeah, this is the last third. It kicks even more, so like it goes from the 10s to the 14s. So I probably could have saved a little bit more for this part, but I stay on top of the power. I have the SRAM axis on there, so I've got a 33 cassette, or a 32. It's a 32 cassette in the back, and I'm still cranking 70 RPMs in my little ring. As there's one other brave dude who actually was riding Brasstown on this day. That makes me happy. This is one of those days you look at the forecast, like, yeah, I'll take a rest day and go home tomorrow. But all my stuff was kind of scheduled. But I did see a big group from, I want to say it was like Cleveland out there at the bottom. I talked to them for a minute. Here's more just, all right, it's 18%. I just got to blast up this and cross my fingers that it ends at some point and I can recover and still have a good finish. It's a rude hill. 20%. There's no sitting down. This is right here. This is why we do our planks. I'm barely using my legs. It's all like arms and back and abs. Yeah, this is the part you want to save your gas for, is the 17%. It's 2/3 in. And I'm like, ooh, where was that? Remember, I was using up on my 470 watts 10 minutes ago. The thing is too, if you blow up when it's this steep, if you fully die, that's where you really hemorrhage time. That's where you pay for it. So that's starting to happen here. I'm trying to realize, I'm like, okay, we've still got a couple minutes left. Let's if you can recover at 350 watts, that's what I was doing. And now it's okay. Let's back to settle into a kind of sustainable pace. Yeah, so Brasstown is the, like I said, this is kind of the crown jewel of North Georgia, but there's a whole bunch more. There's so many awesome rides here. If you can find a week with good weather, it's totally worth the training camp. It's not a great like off-season training camp because you're going to end up with a lot of days like these. That's why I don't live in Georgia anymore. But it's just as cycling destinations, I think it's people used to talk about it more, and they've kind of forgotten, but the roads are the same. All right, here we are. It's only 13%, but I'm getting back on top of it. Now I know, like, okay, the finish is there's one hairpin, and I'm like, all right, I could start kind of squeezing it out to get up this, because I know the last bit is, I'm not gonna say flat, but it's not like this. But I did know from the live segments I was a good bit up on the time at this point. So now it's like, all right, I'm gonna get this KOM. I didn't nail the pacing, and certainly have a good day, but I got it. As long as I don't kill myself and have to stop, which has happened. Actually, it happened on my training ride yesterday. This is my mom driving the Van Do-It behind me, so doing a great job. Or maybe it's might be a stepdad actually doing the driving. But we've got the GoPro mounted on. There's like a Sea Suckers camera mount you've probably seen on my Instagram. Nice and stable, never fallen off. It kind of adds like a foot to it, so it gets a better angle than the kind of the regular GoPro mount that just sits on your car hood. Also, the audio helps. You get a little bit less engine noises. Here we go. So now I know there's a ranger station up here, and I wasn't sure exactly where the segment went in, but I figured it would be before the gate. But this is in the, all right, let's try and stay over 400 to the end. But I'm pretty much burned here. And what's fun too is you smash Brasstown, and it's a full body workout. There it is. 4% feels like downhill at this point. There we go, that's the gate. So enjoy the views of 10 feet of fog. All right, that was Brasstown. I didn't pace it perfect. I forgot how steep it was at the end, but I got it. So we're off to a good start. We gotta stay focused. Gotta stay fueled. It's noon. There's an incredible view here that I won't bother to show you because you can see 10 feet in front of you. On a good day, you can see like 4 states from here. Today, it's you can see about 10 trees. All right, let's go. Next stop.